Hey, lovelies, I've got a secret for you. And that is, you don't find the dark feminine. She finds you. And when she whispers your name, it's not something you can unhear. However, you do have a choice. And the only question is, will you answer when she calls? Now, the dark feminine is one of my favorite currents of power. And when I talk about the dark feminine, I don't mean the caricature that you've been warned about. It's not the shadow that you've been told to fear. But what I'm referring to is the sovereign, unapologetic, truth bearing or truth bringing energy that awakens and helps you to know that it's time for you to remember who you really are. So today we're going to step into and talk about recognizing when the dark feminine is calling you and also what it means to answer that call. Welcome back to season 4 of the U R Immeasurable Podcast. I'm your host, Tonesha Hyde, holistic business manager and alchemist, dragonfire energy healer, and revealer of the ancient truths. This space is where shadow work meets the dark feminine, where goddess power awakens in your bones, and where divine alignment becomes not just a way of life, but also how we do business. Together, we'll reclaim our fire, embody our sovereignty, and rise into the immeasurable truth of who we really are. So every Wednesday, a new episode will drop, and there will be bonus sparks of inspiration and special series throughout the season. So go ahead and grab your tea, your coffee, or your glass of wine, and let's journey together, because your power was never meant to be measured. It was meant to be remembered. Now, for those that don't know, the dark feminine isn't one face or one goddess or even one energy. What she represents is an archetypal current. And this current shows up across cultures. You've got goddesses like Kali, Lilith, Oya, Hecate, Medusa, Sekhmet, and also the Black Madonna. Now, that's not an all inclusive list. That's not every energy or every goddess. But these ladies, these energies, these beings, they do come as both destruction and rebirth. She represents both rage and liberation. But we can't forget that she's also fierce love, the type of love that refuses to let you live in the shadows or in playing small or being small. She is the storm. She is the shadow. She is the fire. And these are not energies or goddesses that show up to punish you. She comes to help set you free. And you may hear this or these phrases when she's whispering to you. Time's up. No more playing small. Speak. Say the words. No more silence. Look at yourself. Look in the mirror. Remember who you are. And often you'll know she's calling because things in your life begin to unravel. The places, the relationships, the communities that you find yourself being a part of, all of a sudden, they just don't fit anymore. And the connection to them will start to fall apart. Any relationships that you have that are rooted in fear or that you shouldn't continue to hold on to, those things that don't benefit, don't build, don't inspire, and don't sustain you, they'll begin to dissolve. Those masks that for years and decades that have been so comfortable to you, suddenly they get to the point that it's just too much. They're too draining and too heavy to continue to wear or to hold. These unravelings, it's not about punishment. These are your initiations. This is her whispering. And that's her waiting for you to acknowledge that you hear her when she lets you know that I am here. I am right here. I'm with you. I'm here to help you. Will you accept my help? And will you ride? She'll come to you in dreams. I've had that experience. I dreamt of Medusa. I dreamt of Hecate. I dreamt of Oshun. And I've even dreamt of Kali. Sometimes she'll show up in sacred rage when you don't know why. something has begun to bother you, like so deep bother you. And other times it'll be things like unbearable grief that will begin to open your heart and just have it wide open to pain, injustice. And it doesn't even have to be things in your life. When she speaks to you or calls to you or begins to share things with you, her voice is not always soft. Sometimes it is in the beginning because she's getting you ready. But if you continue to ignore her, she will grow louder. And you'll find that her voice, the things that she shares, the things that she says, it's always true. Now, even the phrase dark feminine, a lot of times we take that to mean dangerous or destructive. And that's because of the programming, that's because of the conditioning and the teaching of supremacy, patriarchy, and even colonized or sanitized spirituality. This is how we've been taught to resist her because how she's been painted. And she's been painted that way because if we allow her to come in, if we listen and we begin to rise and we begin to speak and we begin to let that fire burn as women and we answer that call, we answer her call, we can change so many things in our own life, in the life of the people around us, and even throughout the world. Will give us the ability to stop apologizing, give us the courage to stop shrinking, and we stop carrying the fear of speaking up and speaking out. And these are the reasons that we've been taught, trained, conditioned, told not to listen to those whispers. But have you noticed that the whispers don't stop? They keep coming. So you might wonder, well, if I wanted to say yes, if I wanted to answer the call, what would happen? Well, you'll begin to shed everything that is false. Those are beliefs, those are fears, habits. You'll realize that your rage is sacred and you'll begin to reclaim that. The light will come on and you'll embrace the wisdom that has been hiding or has been hidden in your shadow. And you'll acknowledge, tap into, and begin to feel yourself. You'll allow yourself to tap into your sovereignty and rise into the unapologetic version of yourself. The one that doesn't ask for permission, doesn't wait for the go ahead. And that's with most things that we speak about and we begin to realize and we begin to open ourselves to. We know that saying yes, answering the call, doesn't necessarily make life easy. Yet what it will do is make your life true. And that's because once you say yes, there's no going back. There's no going back to the false, no going back to the timid, no going back to hiding. And so with that being said, my question to you is, have you heard the call of the dark feminine? Has she been whispering your name? What's been unraveling in your life that no longer fits? And have you thought about, sat with, and made yourself ready to answer? Because the dark feminine, she's not coming or calling to destroy you. She's coming to destroy what has been destroying you. And lovely, I do have to say that she doesn't always wait for the perfect opportunity or the perfect time when everything seems to be flowing and crimson and clover. No, she comes when you're ready, even if you don't realize it. And if you're hearing her whisper, if you're feeling her presence right now, understand that it's because it's time. And you're not alone. We're all on this journey together. We're walking through our shadow. We're jumping into the fire and we're testing out what it is to live in our sovereignty. Until next time, I want you to remember the whisper is nothing for you to fear. It is the sound of your power returning. Cheers to your transformation. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the U R Immeasurable Podcast. My prayer is that something in today's conversation sparked a remembering or a shift and maybe a softening in your soul. If you love this episode, please share it with someone who also needs this medicine, and make sure you're following the show so that you never miss a new activation. Also, come connect with me on Instagram, Facebook, or even TikTok. My handle on all social media platforms is @Agitator Hyde. Also, I want you to know that my DMs are always open if you want to go deeper, if you have questions, or you just want to share what listening to the podcast has unfolded for you. Beyond anything, I want you to remember that your power, your path, and your purpose are already within you. You are not broken. You're blossoming. You are becoming, and you are immeasurable. So until next time, be well, stay bold, and always stay true to the divine within you.